To cut back on wasteful federal spending. A new report shows the pigs are still at the trough. CBN Capitol Hill correspondent Abigail Robertson shows us some of this year's biggest projects charged to the American taxpayer.
Republicans are supposedly the party of fiscal responsibility, yet the 2018 Congressional Pig Book shows that earmarks in pork barrel spending are dangerously on the rise and costing taxpayers billions.
The cost of earmarks doubled in fiscal year 2018 from $6.8 billion to $14.7 billion.
Americans thought the practice of lawmakers using federal funds for pet projects back home, like the infamous $398 million Alaska Bridge to Nowhere, ended in 2011.
They're simply less transparent and more secretive. Rather than listing the names of the members of Congress, they just add a huge amount of money and then divide it up, probably behind closed doors, calling the agencies.
This year's summary exposed things like $65 million for the Pacific Coastal Salmon Recovery Fund and $13 million going to local museums, opera houses, and theaters.
It is very frustrating. We need to do better for our taxpayers.
Congressman Mark Walker says this practice leads to shady favors, a corrupt government, and wasteful spending.
I find it, and I believe a lot of the people that I talk to in North Carolina, one of the most frustrating things is using the taxpayers' dollars to arrange deals or get things to vote one way or the other. That's what we've got to continue to improve on here in D.C.
Some lawmakers want to lift the earmark ban to ease the gridlock of spending bills, but Senator Jeff Flake calls that a terrible idea.
This notion that if you have a bunch of earmarks, you can speed the appropriations process just doesn't wash. All it does is leverage more spending. It is the gateway drug to spending addiction.
These lawmakers argue earmarks are the antithesis of draining the swamp, and they're fighting to see them banned once and for all. Reporting from Washington, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.